Ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thanks for joining us on CoreTV News this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. The Senate has approved President Goodluck Jonathan's request for $1 billion loan to wage war against insurgencies. Senators had no problem accepting the recommendation of the Finance Committee when the report was presented at plenary. But many opposition lawmakers felt that it would have been better if the government dipped into the excess crude account or the Sovereign Wealth Fund. We'll bring you details of that story in a subsequent bulletin. Now, that a Boko Haram commander who was been posing as Abubakar Shekau in videos was killed in Kodunga. It also hinted that the real Shekau had since died and Bashir Mohammed had been appearing in propaganda videos released by the insurgent group. Persama reports that this is the first time the military would declare Shekau dead. Details of these following clips, viewers' discretion are advised.
Speculations about the death of Shekau have been in the media for some time now. There were also suggestions that it was his look-alike that was gunned down in Konduga, but there were also claims that neither Shekau nor his body double was shot dead. Now, the military has come up with video evidence showing that the man who had been posing as Abubakar Shekau is the same person killed in battle. It also dropped hints on the fate of the original Shekau.
The convoy of combat vehicles, which is typical when the mission involves their top commanders, were fiercely engaged by the land and air forces that were there to keep watch. In the process, several of the terrorists, including some of their top commanders, lost their lives in the encounters, which lasted an average of about 5 hours each time. In the process, the troops were able to capture some of the terrorists as well as their equipment. That's in addition to those that died. And in the course of those encounters also, one Mohammed Bashir, who has been acting or posing on videos as the deceased Abubakar Shekau, that eccentric character that is known as the leader of the group, died in that operation.
There had also been controversy over the identity of the troops that killed the Boko Haram commander. But the Nigerian military insists that its soldiers were solely involved in the operation.
We can say categorically that no foreign force of any type penetrated this country to the extent of getting to Konduga. All that we have shown you there took place in Konduga. And Konduga is some distance, very good distance from our borders. And that's the much I can say. Whatever other claim is out there, I'm not in a position to defend the purpose.
The military authorities say the recent victory has not only lifted the morale of troops, but also broken the ranks of the insurgents. Defense spokesman revealed that in recent days, over 100 terrorists have surrendered with their weapons.
A total of about 135 terrorists have yesterday evening surrendered along with their equipment to troops around Biu, local government area. A group of 88 submitted themselves at Meriga Bunyadi, while another group of 45 terrorists were taken in around Mubi and Michigan. They're all being interrogated and processed in conformity with the dictates of standard best practices.
And as the war against insurgency continues, the Nigerian military says it will continue to conduct land and air operations to stop the terrorists in their tracks. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the police authorities say 2 out of the 20 policemen that escaped from the attack on the mobile training school in Gwoza have died. Acting Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba said at press briefing that another police personnel declared missing has also resurfaced. He, however, reaffirmed the police commitment to locating over 15 men who are still missing since August.
We are still making efforts to locate some of our colleagues that were missing after the attack. What is promising is that even early this week, on Monday, we received information that one of them has surfaced. Cannot tell you that any one of them, other than the ones we know, the two we have told you earlier on, that we have confirmed that yes, they have died of their injuries and their corpses were recovered and even handed over to their families and buried with all honors. We cannot tell you that anyone has died apart from those two.
As Nigeria prepares to mark 54 years of independence, the federal government says it will do all in its power to restore peace in the Northeast region. Information Minister Labaran Marco made this pledge on the sidelines of this week's Federal Executive Council meeting. He also lamented that trillions of naira spent on combating insurgency in the region could have been used to improve other sectors of the economy.
But we'll continue to press to make sure that we secure the country and stem the destruction that has taken place. So for me, I think that is the most important thing. Progress is being made, and we'll continue to urge for citizen support in ensuring that we make progress and unite the rest, bring peace to that part of the country, which is a key economic zone. You know, because if you look at the Lake Chad region, depends on Borno State and Yobe. It's a huge area that is bigger than many countries in Africa. So returning peace there will speed up the economic development of Nigeria and the prosperity of our nation.
The House of Representatives has launched investigation into the claim that some lawmakers were given $50,000 to frustrate debate on the controversial $9.3 million seized in South Africa. This was after a PDP member from Taraba State, Albert Samsokwa, raised the matter on the matters of privilege. He identified an APC legislator, Ali Madaki, as the man who raised the allegations, which he insists tarnished the image of the House. Madaki admitted to making the claims to a journalist, but says he had no concrete proof. Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, who presided over the sitting, however, referred the matter to the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges for investigation within 2 weeks. It's CoreTV News on the hour. More stories coming up shortly after this break. Stay with us.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water, or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Welcome back. The World Health Organization has announced that the death toll of people killed by Ebola virus disease has reached 2,917. According to the global health body, the casualty figure was driven by continuing rapid spread of the disease in Liberia and Sierra Leone. At least 2,909 people have died in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone, with 6,242 reported Ebola cases overall, according to the latest report of the United Nations Health Agency. Nigeria and Senegal have recorded a total of 8 deaths and 21 cases of infection. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says he's seeking to become Nigeria's president because the country appears to be on autopilot with no one in charge. He cited the lingering security situation and low human development index to justify his stance on non-existence government and poor leadership. Atiku Abubakar also promised a government with zero tolerance for corruption and nepotism.
It was one of the worst kept secrets in Nigeria's politics. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had several weeks ago made it known he was joining the race for the presidency. And now he has formally declared his interest at an elaborate event attended by his political associates.
Gentlemen, welcome Atiku Abubakar.
The former vice president was quite emphatic in declaring his readiness to seek his party's nod for the 2015 elections.
With the support of millions of Nigerians desirous of change and the hard work by all of us, the APC shall form the next government of this great nation. I have therefore decided that I will, by the grace of God, along with other respected leaders of our party, seek nomination as a candidate of the APC to contest the presidential election of 2015.
For a man who is a veteran of several political battles, he did not hold back in throwing barbs at the Jonathan's administration. Atiku recounted the achievements of the Obasanjo years and concluded that the incumbent government has fared worse.
Government has a responsibility to do everything possible to hold the ongoing dehumanization of Nigerians. Unfortunately, what we have is a serious governance deficit. To put it bluntly, our country seems to be on autopilot with no one in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a strong, dynamic, decisive, competent and visionary leadership that can halt the current drift of the ship of state, fight corruption, create jobs, rebuild our infrastructure, provide social services and tackle insecurity in a decisive, robust and multi-pronged way. This is the change.
He argued that Nigeria needs a strong visionary leadership and promised to head a government with zero tolerance for corruption and nepotism.
The mother of Aziz Ashake, a member of the All Progressives Congress, has sparked up arguments and accusations between the deceased family and one of the major political parties involved in Sunday's shootout among political thugs which occurred on the Lagos Island. Oluwaseyi Adegoke visited the late Ashake's family and brought back this report presented from our studios.
This is the reaction of family members and neighbors of Aziz Ashake, who was said to be murdered by some political party thugs in Lagos.
PDP, àwọn ìyàwó Rafiu Abija Báṣọ̀run òun ni àtọlọ́kọ dáná lóyìn níbọn Kasim olóko dáná nídìí kíni nídìí nǹkan méjì ipe wọ́n gbé branch chairman wọ́n gbé Fásisì Àṣàkẹ́ ó dẹ̀ tún wá rí pé nítorí tiẹ̀ òun ò ní rí gbà ó lọ sí PDP torí APC ló wà ó cross lọ PDP ló wá ní pé àfi tóun bá rí pé òun rẹ́ǹdì yẹn.
ó ṣe mítìn tán nínú complex ńbẹ yẹn ó bọ́lẹ̀ báyìí tó wá síbi bíi tó ń jókòó tó ń ṣe fàájì náà wá pè wípé àwọn ọmọ PDP tó ń bọ̀ láti race course wípé wọ́n ti attack àwọn boys ẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ yẹn ló lọ síbẹ̀ pé láti lọ scare àwọn pé ẹ má jà ó stop àwọn ti bí ó stop àwọn tọ̀hún pé ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jà òun lòun ò fẹ́ wàhálà kí ni wàhálà òun pẹ̀lú Abija ti ríra àwọn ti sọ̀rọ̀ àṣàbíjà wà láàrin wọn àtolóko dáná wọn nígbà tó máa yí sí ọ̀dọ̀ gúrùpù wọn báyìí wọn kàn bìlà fún wọn láàrin ni àfi gbáàwù láyà.
ìwà wọn fi ṣèkà fún wa ní o kò múra jà o olóhùn lọ jà o.
Reacting to the allegation against the People's Democratic Party, the party state publicity secretary Ganiu Taufik says the allegations are false and unsubstantiated.
The APC has become a party that is always quick to cry wolf, especially when they are involved in dastardly acts. It is commonsensical that members of the same family should ordinarily not fight themselves. So why will anybody come up with the argument that after a PDP rally, PDP members started fighting themselves and then their target was to kill an APC member? That is very incredible to believe. What happened as part of what had been told was that some APC members laid ambush on our members who were leaving the TBS premises, and as our members on the island were going on their streets on same island, the APC members fired at them. Of course, that is logical because if you saw the mammoth crowd on that day, you will know that any sitting government will be intimidated if an opposition can have such mammoth crowd. So we believe that the mammoth crowd that they saw that day intimidated them and unwarrantedly provoked them.
Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Ngozi Braid declined comments over the incidents.
Chief Justice of Nigeria, Aloma Mukhtar, has decried the slow pace of judicial processes in the country as reasons why corruption is rife among judges and lawyers. Speaking on a flagship program called Digest, legal practitioner Wale Ogwade says the delay in the justice system is as a result of the kind of laws operated in the country, which has encouraged corruption by judiciary workers.
Judge does not have the power to go, okay, I remove you. No, there are procedures. At best, the judge can go out and say, I'm having a prerogative of mercy program. That's at best, and he can't just say, open wide the prison doors. No. If the Bible says they open us the way prison doors and you are singing it, you are on your own. The judge has no power to go to a prison and open wide the prison doors for all to come out because they've been incarcerated illegally. No. There are procedures. That's why you hear these judges say, my hands are tied sometimes. The law is not the way, and maybe before I forget, I know in South Korea, no matter what the problem is, legally, within 2 weeks, everything is dispensed with. And if anybody tells me it's not possible in Nigeria, I will say the person is a big liar. Look at it now, the election, the Electoral Act amended. Within 120 days, no, sorry, yeah, 120 days, all issues about elections are done with. So the same thing can go down because no doubt as a lawyer, we play gymnastics, we hide under technicalities to do all sorts of things to delay justice. Yes, but it's the law that allows it. If there is a law that says no matter what, you come to court today, you make your submission and the judge sits down to give a ruling or a judgment. Shikenan. But sometimes on the day of judgment or ruling, the judge will not be there. I know sometimes what I go through as a lawyer. I'll get to court, the court will not sit. The judge will not be there to sit. Then we'll have to postpone again. Is that my fault? But if the judge is not there to sit, there's a penalty. As I'm talking to you, I don't think any judge has been sanctioned in this country for not sitting. But if I, as a lawyer, if I don't go to court on a day that I have in my matter, the matter will be struck off.
On the other hand, a public analyst, Martin Zanovo, congratulated Aloma Mukhtar for raising her voice to condemn the level of corruption in the industry, despite all odds.
Society is not just dysfunctional, it is perverse. And you cannot expect a perfect judiciary in a perverse society. So if we are trying to be very, very practical, we will know that the judiciary in Nigeria has tried, especially this current Chief Justice. Because she's the only one who had the boldness to even admit these things that all of us know are true, and all of us pretend. Just like Bale was saying, these things are there. We know they are true because we encounter them daily. And this woman has the courage. I heard Dangote the other day saying that women are more honest than men. I think this is a case where there is a possibility that his statement is right.
It's not possibility. It's the truth.
It's the truth. So, in general, I think women are more honest than men. Now, this woman has the courage to do this. And don't forget, there are some judges being investigated.
The Ekiti House of Assembly has summoned the Commissioner of Police and the Director of the Department of Security Service over the recent disruption of proceedings and assault of those present by hoodlums at the State High Court. Rashid has more in this report.
The Ekiti State House of Assembly expressed shock at reports of an invasion of a court proceedings by thugs. The lawmakers argue that more worrisome is the fact that the thugs carried out their act in broad daylight in the presence of security forces.
A situation where judges and lawyers were being chased around the court premises, attempting whether to kill or beat them, as the case may be, it's a dangerous dimension. The security agencies in Ekiti State to live up to their social responsibility. Because it is only when they live up to their social responsibility that we can have atmosphere of peace. What stops hoodlums from invading Ekiti State House of Assembly?
However, the police in Ekiti State said it should not be blamed for the unfortunate situation.
Security was provided there at the court premises, but the hoodlums, they came in their thousands and they scaled the dwarf wall of the court into the court premises. At that point in time, the security men, the policemen in the court premises called for reinforcement, and between the time they called for the reinforcement and the time the reinforcement actually came, some other things happened. The prompt intervention of the reinforcement forestalled what would have been a colossal and monumental damage.
The Ekiti State House of Assembly, among other resolutions, summoned the leadership of the police and Department of State Security Service for detailed explanation.
Condemn it as barbaric. As barbaric, 1. 2, invite the Commissioner of Police and the Director of SSS to come and make certain clarifications, because they are in charge of security of the state, to come and make clarification on that particular issue. Then 3, that the House Committee on Judiciary should actually look and investigate, both what actually led, to such an ugly, situation.
The news of the court invasion has attracted condemnation from far and near. Residents in Ekiti State say they are hopeful that investigation by the House of Assembly will prevent future occurrence. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Ikeja High Court in Lagos is set to deliver a judgment on whether or not hijab should be allowed in public primary and secondary schools in the state. The judgment is expected to be delivered by Justice Grace Modupe on Friday. The pronouncement to give the final judgment came after the case was adjourned 5 times, most of which came on applications by counsel for the state government. The Lagos state government had banned the use of hijab on the argument that it's not part of the approved school uniform for pupils. Outside Nigeria, France has confirmed that an Algerian jihadist group linked to Islamic State militants has beheaded tourist Hervé Gardel, seized on Sunday. John Al-Khilafa killed Gardel 55 after its deadline for France to halt airstrikes on ISIS in Iraq ran out. John Al-Khilafa posted a video of Gardel being killed, which was entitled "Message of Blood for the French Government." He's shown on his knees with his hands behind his back in front of 4 masked armed militants. He's allowed briefly to express his love for his family before one of the militants reads out a speech in which he denounces the actions of the French criminal crusaders against Muslims in Algeria Mali, and Iraq. The beheading, the spokesman says, is to avenge the victims in Algeria and support the caliphate proclaimed by ISIS in Iraq and Syria. French President François Hollande has condemned the killing as a cruel and cowardly act. He says that French airstrikes, which began on ISIS targets in Iraq last week, would continue. The group has also threatened to kill Alan Henning, a taxi driver from the UK, who was seized while on aid mission to Syria in December. And that wraps it on CoreTV News this hour. Join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.